You will all probably agree with me that when we talk about menucha, rest, which is the Midda of this month, Shabbat is really the day that we apply this concept. And this is why we call Shabbat menucha. Shabbat vayinafash, it's a day of rest. However, what is resting? What is exactly the meaning of Shabbat menucha? If someone will be sleeping all day long on Shabbat, will he actually get the point? Will he actually perform what Shabbat is about? Or maybe menucha is something else. Maybe Shabbat is about something else. So I propose to take a look in this week's Parashat. Parashat Beshala'h talks about so many things. We have the Kriyat Yam Suf. We're going to have Milchemet Amalek in the end. And right in the heart of the Parasha, the Torah talks about an episode called Parashat Haman. Many of you have probably read the Parashat Haman this past Tuesday. It is a segula for Parnasah. And this Parashat Haman is not just about the man that fell on a daily basis for 40 years for Am Israel. It was actually a way for the Jewish people to be introduced to the concept of Shabbat. Re'u ki Hashem natan lachem et HaShabbat, al ken hu noten lachem bayom hashishi lechem yomayim. There is a very strong connection between the man and Shabbat itself. In fact, when Am Israel were told to keep Shabbat, they were not told about the 39 melachot. The 39 melachot are all a masoreh that we have from the Chachamim based on the Torah shebe'al peh. The only detail, the practical detail that we have about Shabbat is in this week's Parashat Beshala'h, and it's about the man. Am Israel needed to know that on Friday they would collect a double portion of man, which is why we have lechem mishneh, 2 breads on our Shabbat table. And on Saturday, on the day of Shabbat, they would not collect the man. This is how they were introduced to the idea of Shabbat, and this was the practical way of keeping Shabbat for the Jews in the desert. And my question to you is, why the man? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu choose to introduce Shabbat through the man? And maybe it was to clarify what is the idea of menucha, what is the idea of taking a break. And it's probably very important for all of us who are now just a few days, probably a week away from winter break, a well-deserved break for all the students, for all the parents who Be'ezrat Hashem are looking forward to spend some nice time away or at home. So what is the idea of taking a break? What is the idea of Shabbat itself? And I think that what we unfortunately misunderstand is Shabbat is not a day of non-action. It's not because I worked so hard throughout the week, I went to work, I went to school, I was busy, I was rushing, and I deserve a day of break, a day of rest, in which I will do absolutely nothing. It's actually quite the opposite. Shabbat is a day that we are extremely proactive. Going to shul, going to shiurei Torah, spending time around the Shabbat table with the family, giving some kind of quality to that day. It's not about doing nothing. It's about actually doing so many other things. But most importantly, a break in that routine. It is a day that we realize that we rush and we work and we do and we act and we own, because we need to make sure that we are on the right page, that we are doing it for the right reason. Why do I do what I do? Why am I rushing to work? Why am I doing what I'm doing every single day? And this is why Shabbat is called the tachlit of creation. When we realize that everything that we do, that our life on a daily basis, the tiniest detail, is around the fact that we believe in Hashem, that we work for Him, that He is watching over us, that the blessing that we have is all thanks to Him. On Shabbat, we let ourselves to reevaluate everything that we do and make sure that we are on the right track, that we are on the right page. So we make sure to take a break, not to do nothing. We take a break to think, to stop, to realize, to recalibrate, to recalculate. Am I doing what I'm doing for the right reason? Am I rushing? Am I working because I want to go on vacation? Or is it because Kadosh Baruch Hu asked me to do it? I have an obligation to feed my family. I have an obligation to be a good husband, to be a good wife, to be a good son, to be a good daughter. And on Shabbat, we look at each other and we look up to Borei Olam and we say, we are with this, we are with you together. And what we do, we know why we do it. And probably the man is the best example for that. Because I do know that the man is about the Parashat, and it's probably, the Parashat is something that many, many times takes us away, distracts us from what's important in life, from the people who are important for us in life. But most importantly, the man was the bread, was the food that the Jews were eating in the desert for 40 days, every single day. And I'm sorry to say, as good as the man would taste, but when you eat the exact same thing for 40 years, you kind of get bored, right? Even if it would be steak. I mean, at the end of the day, think about it, it's the same thing. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's called a routine. Shabbat is there to tell us, don't take the man anymore today. Break that routine. Make sure that you don't get caught into the routine without knowing why you do what you do. That is what Menucha is about. That is what the idea of resting and the idea of Shabbat is. The Torah tells us, you want to keep Shabbat, you want to really be a Shomer Shabbat, take a break and think about what you do, and most importantly, why you're doing it. How are you going to realize? Connect with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Connect with your rabbis. Connect with your family. Connect with your children. Connect with your spouse. When you look at them, you realize, this is why I do what I do. This is why it's worth it for me to wake up early in the morning, to get home sometimes late. Because these are the people that I value. These are the mitzvot that I work for. Yes, it costs money. Yes, it costs effort. But this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So let's remember, as we are heading forward to our break, a well-deserved break, we're going to make sure it's not going to be a time, Chas v'Shalom, that we forget who we are, that we leave behind the values that are important for us, but the opposite, to take the time to stop, to think, to reevaluate, to recalibrate. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will double our energy to make sure, to work for Him, to work with Him, with more quality, with more energy, with more passion. Shabbat Shalom U'Mvorach.